Hey guys, gals, welcome to episode, was it 8, I think, of Jack's Low Carb Journey. And today what we're going to talk about is motivation to get your ass on a keto plan. If you are really overweight, like obese and risk of type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, all that stuff. And a lot of you guys that may not think you're there, you're on your way. Like, basically, I'll tell you this. If you stand straight up and you look down and you see belly, you have insulin resistance. It's just a matter of how much. But we'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about a progress update. I had a funeral I had to go to Friday last week, and that meant Thursday last week I had to do 2 podcasts. You might want to check my podcast out called The Survival Podcast at thesurvivalpodcast.com or tspc.co.co. Anyway, I had to do 2 shows in one day. That's a lot of work, so I didn't do an episode for you on YouTube then about my keto update, and I didn't do one Friday because I had to go to a funeral. But I have been a good boy. I have stayed very, very strict, maintaining my macros right at 70, 25, 5, like staying under 20 carbohydrates. I did finally let myself have 1 glass of wine last night. Waited till after dinner so the digestive processes have started, and I had 1 5-ounce glass of Chardonnay. Dinged me for 5 carbs, but I was well under for the day. Alcohol, again, as I've said in previous videos, will shut down glucose burning. It is something that you've kind of derailed yourself with, but 1 drink, your liver can handle that. It only takes about 40 minutes to process that to an hour. I probably took 40 minutes to an hour to drink that glass of wine since I only got 1. It was really good too. Made by a company called Copa. They sell little, 1-size servings, which are cool to limit yourself. And it didn't seem to really do anything, but I did enjoy it. And so maybe one glass of wine a week or 2 is about all I would allow on keto, because especially during weight loss. But how did the weight loss go? So when I checked in with you Wednesday last week, which was, 5 days ago, I was 230.8. As of this morning, I have to fill it in. I was 228 even this morning. So, yeah, that is right. Yep, 228. So that dropped me, 2.2 pounds? In about 5 days. That's not bad now, is it? And my total weight loss, therefore, 19 pounds in 29 days. And starting from my original weight, 7.69% of my body weight. One little thing I want to throw out before we get into today's topic, too, is that I had talked about on the podcast anyway about developing like a spreadsheet and having somebody make it into like a website or app for tracking all this stuff. And I decided, you always get these wild hairs in your ass, Jack, and you think you have your little media empire, you're going to go out there and make something new. So I checked on some of the apps, and I found one called Keto Diet App, and there's a couple called that. As you might imagine, in the Android and the iPhone marketplace. So I'll put a link in the show notes down there for you so you can see it. It's got some bugs that I talked to the maker, and they're supposedly got an upgrade that will make those bugs go away. They're just waiting on the Apple gods to approve. I really like it. It's just not worth my time and my money to develop an app or a website when something exists that already does more than I even envisioned. There's several different apps. I know I'm going to get probably a bunch of comments about, I like this, I like that. Put them down there, I'll check them out. But, once you've got something rolling, you kind of like what you got. So hopefully that will, that'll work for some of y'all. And everybody use what they want. But I like it tracks your individual macros, your carbohydrates and all. It did give me like an allowance of 27 carbohydrates. Based on my body type and all, and I jacked that down to 20, play with the calories a little bit and all, and we'll talk about calories a bit more, because this is a whole, calories don't count. I say calories don't count what they do. That'll be next episode, maybe. But what we're going to talk about today is motivation to get your ass on keto. How about this? What if you had cancer? What if you had a cancer that was a slow-growing, slow-moving cancer that could be treated mostly nutritionally, and over the next 10 years, that cancer had a 50% chance of killing you, and if you didn't kill you, of the other 50%, not 100% total, but a 50% chance of severely destroying your quality of life. So either you have 50% you're going to die, or if you don't die, out of that group, half of those people are going to have the quality of their life seriously ruined in the next 10 years. And, your doctor said, here's a treatment program. We could cure this cancer. But if you don't follow this treatment program, this is what's going to happen. And so over 20 years, you have a real chance of ending up dead. We might have to amputate feet or hands or fingers. It may destroy your heart. It's really, really bad cancer. But it's slow moving, and here's a treatment plan. And if you take this seriously, there's no reason that you can't cure your cancer. Well, what would you do? Would you say, well, I'm going to research this? Or, well, you know, when I have more time next year, I'll get on it. Or would you be like, holy shit, I have cancer? Well, go look at the leading causes of death in the United States. And while you will see cancer well up on that list, if you look at heart disease, diabetes, and all the other things that are on the top 10 list, and you realize that most of them are caused by, influenced by, or aggravated by obesity. If you are significantly overweight, you have fat cancer. Instead of a tumor, of a cancerous tumor, you have fat that is like a tumor. And just like a tumor, it metastasizes and goes through other parts of your body, like your liver and your pancreas and around your heart. And that means that literally you have, if you are significantly overweight, over the next 20 years, a pretty good chance of dying. Now, if you're 20, you know, you might make, if you're 25, 26, you know, and you're significantly overweight, you might make 46, no problem, alive. But let me ask you this. If you are significantly overweight at 26, because, guys, I let my weight get away from me. I did. You know, that's why I'm doing this, to be accountable to you guys. But at 26, guys, I was built like a brick shit house, man. 26, if you're fat at 26 or 24 or 22 and you don't do something, by the time you're in your 40s like I am, you're going to have bye-bye elbow. You know, people talk about bye-bye arm, you wave and your arm flaps. Bye-bye elbow is when you can stick your fingertip into your elbow and the tip of your finger disappears into the fat roll of your elbow. If you're a fat ass at 20, you're going to be a fat elbow at 40. Right. It's up to you to do something about this. And I just wanted to give you the perspective today that if you are significantly overweight, and I'll also tell you there's a danger, like, you know, in my 30s I got pretty overweight and I could still hike 10 miles. So I didn't think it mattered. It mattered. It mattered. If I, you know, as bad as I let myself get recently, if I hadn't done things in the interim and occasionally lost weight and occasionally taken control of this, what would I be, 300? I would have started, instead of starting at 247, I would have started at 347? Or I'd be dead? I mean, this is reality. If you are obese, right, and I know a lot of people don't want to use that word, but if you're significantly overweight, you are obese. Do a body fat, you know, analysis. I don't believe in the government's weight number either. The government says I'm supposed to weigh 168 pounds. If I was 168 pounds, I would look like a concentration camp victim from World War II. That's what I would look like. I was 180 pounds plus in high school at 17. Right? I'm a big man. I have a pretty good amount of muscle on me, and I have very wide shoulders. I have thick wrists. I am a big guy. My legs, you never see them on camera. My legs are huge. You know, I mean, and they're muscle, right? So, but I got this fat on my gut, fat on my chest. It's got to go. It's not healthy. So I don't agree with the government's number. If you're this height and this weight, you know, this height, you should be this weight. I think it's crap. But I do think when you do a body fat analysis and it says you're something like 30% body fat, 40% body fat or more, like you're in danger of killing yourself. You have fat cancer, and that's how you have to look at it. I would also really encourage you guys, there's a couple documentaries I've watched recently on sugar itself. One's by a company called The Fifth Column out of Canada. And then there's a couple other, one involves Montel Williams, and then there's a third one that involves, I can't think of his name now, Mark Sessons from Primal Blueprint. There's 3, and I'm going to put all of them in the notes for this video too. They're long. They're like an hour. Yeah, the Montel one's like an hour and 45 minutes. The Fifth Column one's like 45, and then the Mark one is like almost an hour from like Mark's Daily Apple. It's an interview. But I really think like the more you learn about diet and nutrition, the more motivated you'll become. The more you'll realize when I say you have fat cancer, I'm not kidding. And let me tell you another thing too. Insulin resistance, what I've learned from one of these documentaries, the Fifth Column one. No, it's the Fifth Estate, not the Fifth Column. What am I thinking? The Fifth Estate. There are researchers now that have researched the effect of sugar and insulin resistance, and they've determined that, like, yeah, you can develop kind of like system-wide insulin resistance, and we call that type 2 diabetes. But individual organs and systems can develop insulin resistance. Like women, ovaries, and that can cause ovary diseases. So you have insulin resistance specifically to your ovaries, meaning ovaries are not able to take in energy from sugar because they have insulin resistance when the rest of your body can function. Well, how about this? It can happen to your freaking brain. And this is not conclusive, but basically they're saying that this one group of researchers now feels like Alzheimer's disease is, or may be for many people, effectively diabetes of the brain. That the brain itself develops insulin resistance, and while the patient may not be a classic type 2 diabetic, they're eating glucose and they're trying to fuel their brain with glucose, and the brain can't take, and the brain begins to die, and it makes perfect sense to me. So you have fat cancer that can give you Alzheimer's disease, cause you to lose your hands and feet, do irreparable damage to your heart. Get your ass on a keto diet. Give it a shot. It can really change your life. Again, my results, 7.69% of my body weight, 29 days. I don't have pictures for you today. I've been taking pictures, though. I'm probably going to do like a big collage because I just haven't been posting pictures these last 5 days of what I've been eating. But I have been eating like a king. I haven't been hungry one time. I think I'm going to say that's not exactly true. Yesterday, by the time we got home from going to the grocery store and picking up some stuff for the animals and stuff like that, it was about 2 o'clock. I hadn't eaten since 6 the next night. I had actual stomach, like where you feel like your stomach's empty and you need to eat. But I could have went a couple more hours, but I was a little bit hungry. It's the first time I've been hungry in almost 30 days, and yet I've lost 19 pounds. I always look at the screen. I don't ever want to lie to you guys or mislead you. I mean, what else will do that for you? What else can change that for you? I bet some of you guys, even since I've started, even though I do need a shave, have seen even in my face, you're starting to see thinning. I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm seeing a different person. I'm seeing a person, if I shave this down and get rid of all this gray, that looks like I did 15 years ago instead of the one I looked like 15 days ago. And I don't want to go out early, man. My wife is always saying, I don't want you to leave me. I want you to be here to take care of me. Well, I want to be here. Who do you want to be there for? Yourself? Other people? It's up to you, man. But you got to take it seriously like your life's dependent on it. Yes, I am measuring everything. Yes, I am using apps. I am tracking my macros. Yes, I am even looking at calories to a degree. Yes, I am making sure there's enough protein so that I'm not protein deficient while I'm losing this weight. Yes, I am taking it seriously because what I have in being significantly overweight, if I don't do something about it, is a fatal condition. And if you start looking at it that way, maybe you'll take it seriously too. With that, hope you enjoyed today's update. Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, put them in the comments below. It's up to you to change your life. Again, that's why I've been ending these. I'm going to keep doing it. The answer to all of your problems, the person accountable to everything in your life, you can find them probably in your bathroom. Almost every bathroom has a mirror. Go look in it. That's the person. That's the only person that can make the change. Probably in your bathroom also is a scale. Is that your friend or your enemy? If you'd like it to be your friend, get on keto. Take care, guys.